Welcome to the Workamper Show, brought to you by Workamper.com. This podcast helps you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. Each one of our episodes will introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to work camping opportunities all around the U.S. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Today I'm speaking with a woman who owns 2 campgrounds in Connecticut, and she's looking for work campers this summer. Today's episode is sponsored by Workamper News. Wouldn't it be nice if work camping job listings for your ideal location just appeared in your email inbox? They can when you're a Workamper News member. Join Workamper News today to start using the best toolkit for finding your next work camping gig. When they turn on job alert emails, members can select to receive help wanted ads for just one state or all of the states they want to work in. Each email contains the full ad text, so there's no need to have to click on a link, go to a website, and then hunt around for the ad just to see if a job even interests you. The job finding process is easier with Workamper News, so join today at www.workamper.com. Lelah Campo owns Cozy Hills Campground in Bantam, Connecticut. She and her team also built a second park from scratch nearby called Sky Ridge Trails in Torrington. The 2 campgrounds are about 7 miles apart and both rely on work campers as a key part of their success. She needs work campers to help with the front desk, retail, housekeeping, maintenance, and running activities. Single work campers usually put in around 30 hours a week, while couples are often working closer to 60 hours combined. Lelah works hard to give work campers 2 days off in a row and on the same day for both partners. Most jobs start at $17 per hour, and work campers are paid for all hours worked. A campsite is provided at zero cost and includes a generous electric allowance and free laundry. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to be work camping in New England, in a place with rolling hills, tall pine trees, busy weekends, and nonstop family activities, then you'll enjoy this conversation. To tell us more about what it's like to work at Cozy Hills Campground and Sky Ridge Trails, please welcome owner Lelah Campo to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Lelah. I really appreciate the time. Tell us a little about Cozy Hills Campground and where it's located.
Sure. Well, we actually own 2 campgrounds just 7 miles apart. We have Cozy Hills, which was our original campground. That one was built in 1963. We bought it in 2014. And it's got a little under 200 sites. It's a mix of seasonal campers and short stay campers. That one tends to be very busy. We do kids activities 7 days a week. It's just kind of typical charming New England rolling hills and tall pine trees, and only 90 minutes though from New York City, which is pretty crazy. And then we got so busy and full at Cozy that we had a chance to buy 365 acres just a few miles away, and we built a second campground from scratch, and that one will be opening for its 3rd season in May.
And what's that one called?
Sky Ridge Trails in Torrington.
You said that was on over 100 acres of property?
Over 300. Yeah, 365 acres. Yeah, it's a big one.
That is. How many sites are on that one?
Currently just 93. That's what we opened with. We need a few years to recover for cash flow before we take on any expansion, but we will eventually, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So will you be using work campers with both of them?
Yes, we have since we opened, and it's been such a great experience for us, and many of them come back. So I guess it's been a great experience for them too. And it's a key piece to our success.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. What kinds of jobs do you hire work campers to do?
A little bit of everything. At our Cozy Hills Campground, we have a full restaurant. So one of our worker camper couples runs the cafe, and that's full service, not just snack food or concession food. So that's a Culinary Institute grad, and they get to use all of their talent in the menu and in the food craft, all the way then, of course, to activities. Like I said, Cozy Hills does 7-day-a-week activities, and so we do lots of creative stuff. And then of course, maintenance, cleaning, and front desk and retail.
That's neat. What kind of activities are you doing at the campground?
A whole variety. In fact, that's really what I've been spending my winter focused on. Everything from Kentucky Derby weekend. There's been a lot of talk amongst campground owners about how to really highlight the 4th of July this year, since it's the 250th birthday, and we're all trying to scratch our heads and think what could make that really special. We do country western weekends, dinosaur weekends, shark weekends, kick off the football season, all kinds of Halloween stuff. It really runs. We even do a lumberjack weekend. So, we're always up to something.
Are the Workampers involved in planning these or executing them?
If they really want to be. We really try to match people up with their talent and what they're really interested in. And that just makes things more fun and better use of the great skill sets that you get with worker campers. So if I talk to somebody and it's just apparent that they really want to do archery, they grew up doing archery, then let's do archery. I mean, one of them, the chef that I talked about loves doing adult crafts. So she dabbles in adult craft a little bit. So really, we try to match people up with their interests instead of saying, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. We try to find and align with what people's talent and interest are with what they end up doing for the campground. So that means we have very diverse job descriptions with people that might clean by day and then might do crafts by night. Or one of our worker campers is a caricature artist. So, we bring that background in. So, it really just depends on what people are interested in doing and would like to explore. And then we try to work that into the mix.
Well, that's really cool. It sounds like it'd be a fun place to work for summer.
We try. It's way too many hours to not have fun. So we try to make it reasonably enjoyable. Yeah.
It's a great segue. How many hours a week are you looking for the work campers to put in?
Well, it sort of depends on whether it's a couple or a single, because the sites are very valuable to us. I see a lot of discussion on the social media pages, varying from highly cynical worker campers to those that are very enthusiastic, right? You see the whole gamut. And sure. I think, seeing it from the owner's perspective, that site has a number that it's worth to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm giving up that site. Truly, I would fill it. I see some people say they'd never fill that site. Well, that may be true of some campgrounds, and I completely understand that people have experienced very different things. But for us, we would fill the site. So if it's a single person, and that means, I'm looking for at least 30 hours a week. And if it's a couple, then my goal is really the people that want to be a little bit, like closer to 60 hours a week. But we work with people. If we find somebody that has a really special skill set and they say to me, I want to work 28 hours a week, if I agree to that, then that's what they're working. Once I give my word on something, that means a lot to me. So then that's the case. We always make sure that worker campers get 2 days a week off in a row. We always make sure that those days are the same if it's a spouse, so that one isn't getting Monday, Tuesday off and the other one's getting Wednesday, Thursday off. That makes no sense to me. So we always include the site. We always include electric. We include laundry. And then, we do look for maybe a little bit on the higher hour side, but we really do not push people into overtime. So we really try to draw the line at 40 hours where nobody, even if they want overtime, I really try to keep it to 40 hours. I think that what we do is intense enough that 40 hours, we all need that recovery time to stay, fresh and energized for the next round of campers.
I agree. A grumpy work camper is not an effective one.
No, no.
So they're working 30 hours a week, 60 for a couple. Would you consider hiring a family?
We have. Yeah. Some campgrounds don't want that, but I have even had great success with families, even with little kids. One of our worker camper families that will be back this year brought a couple of children with them, three, I'm sorry. And I believe that the youngest was 4 when they got there. So their hours couldn't overlap. They worked the same days, but they needed to switch off so that somebody could be with the young one. And we were flexible with that. And as a kind of what we got in the exchange was a fantastic couple that is coming back to us this season. And their kids came to them halfway through the season and said, this is the most fun we've ever had. Please, can we come back here next year? So I consider that a home run all the way around. Mom and dad were happy. Kids loved it. So that makes me really happy.
Absolutely. I wish I could grow up in a campground. That'd be a lot of fun.
Usually, yeah. We'll mischief too, but mostly fun, yeah.
Are these seasonal or year-round opportunities?
Seasonal. Being in Connecticut, we are closed during the wintertime.
When does the season start and end?
Well, our season begins this year on April 17th. We have had worker campers that can't come in until, May. We've also had couples that want to come in early and help us get started. So we can work with either one as long as people are with us by Memorial Day. Generally, by then, we need everyone on the ground and everyone trained.
Okay. And does the campground shut down probably around Halloween?
Actually, the first park, Cozy Hills, closes the first weekend in October. And the newer park, whose water lines are really deep, runs through Veterans Day, which is November 11th.
Okay. That's cool. And you had mentioned that the number of hours that they're working, are the work campers paid for each hour, or are a certain number of hours going toward the site itself?
No, they're paid for all hours, and the site is zero cost to them. And they also get a very high electrical allowance and laundry. They do pay for propane.
Okay, that's fair enough. And so there's no cost at all for the site itself.
No.
Well, what a great opportunity for people. And they're working about 30 hours a week, 2 days off consecutively, and with their partner.
Yes. Yep.
That's great. What kind of traits or qualifications are you looking for in a work camper?
Well, we are pretty open. Like I said, we're very flexible about what positions people are able to tackle. And we have been the first worker camper experience for, I think, about 3 couples to date. And this year we have 2 more coming to us that this will be their first worker camper experience. So we're open to families. We're open to people that are doing it for the first time. I think both of those can be challenges when you're first getting started. But we're looking for people that just bring great life experience and a great attitude with them. So, obviously, if you're interested in maintenance, any sort of outdoor experience or a lot of, even just household handyman type experience is extremely helpful. If you happen to have a trades background, campgrounds always need upkeep. They are always trying to break on you. And so somebody who can help dig up a water line and fix a pipe should the situation arise, or if a camper backs into a pedestal, somebody that knows basic wiring or how to change a breaker is always very helpful. In the office, I would say that we can train you for everything, but if you have the ability to make people feel very good, even on a bad day, then I'll hire you right now. Just send me, take my money. Because people come to us after being on the road, right? Every worker camper knows this experience because we're all on the road. I just drove to Fort Lauderdale solo myself. So with 2 dogs, one of which is 16 years old. So we all know what a long day on the road looks like and feels like, and when things don't go well. And somebody that can make people feel good when they check in, and that is just worth its weight in gold. Yep.
I agree wholeheartedly. What is the rate of pay people start at?
Yeah. So our lowest rate is $17 an hour. Connecticut has really high minimum wage. And then if you bring, we do expect a well-rounded person for that. And because we're including the site and the electric, right? But if you bring a really particular set of experience with you, then we do go higher.
Okay. That's very generous, I think.
So try? Yeah.
Yeah. They don't need any special skills or training particularly for this job. Are there any skills that you're really looking for that you wish people might have? For example, you need somebody with carpentry experience?
Yeah. I think carpenters can yes, everybody will happily take carpenters. In fact, I have a set of stairs right now that need to be fixed in the spring. Yeah, the trades in a campground, the trades are always sought after, and you can see it. If somebody posts online, like I'm just retiring from 20 years of carpentry, you can practically see the campground owner's arm wrestling over who's going to get to talk to them first, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it. When do you typically begin recruiting for the next season?
So normally I start in late summer, early fall. This year, I got behind the 8 ball, and so we still have a few openings, which is very unlike me. But we've been gradually filling up with some great staff, but we probably could still take 2 more people. Yep.
How many work campers do you typically hire every year?
With the 2 parks, I do like to have a mix of worker campers and local employees. And so we usually look for anywhere between 4 and, say, 6 couples. Yeah.
4 to 6 couples. Okay.
Okay. Or singles, and then you just double it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I have hired 2 singles this year. So that means I need, a few more people still. Yep.
Sure. What are the benefits that work campers provide for you compared to the local hires?
One of the things that we find is just they're there on site with us. So the flexibility, occasionally we'll do a split shift, which you just can't do with a local hire, right? Mm-hmm. So if somebody is willing to come in for 2 hours in the morning and just do a quick check on let's just say the bathrooms, or straighten up the pool and check the pool chemicals, and then willing to come back later in the day for their full shift. That's amazing, right? And that's nothing that you're going to get in a local hire.
Right.
We also just find that this is a lifestyle for some people. And so we get people with qualifications that we would never get to hire with local workforce, because if they had that resume and they wanted to work locally, they would have opportunities that far exceed the budget for a campground, right? So that's what we find, is that we just get amazing talent because people want to be on the road, want to be experiencing different parts of the country. They're semi-retired, just a fit for both of us. And that's just, for me, what's so amazing about worker campers.
What's involved in the hiring process?
I always start off with a Zoom or a Teams meeting because it's always a remote experience. And once I decide that it seems like that there's a good gel between their experience and their view on work and teamwork, then it's a group interview with my 2 other assistant managers. And then if that is all a fit, then we do a background check, and then it's an offer letter. Yep. Usually the offer letter comes first, and then, it says contingent upon a background check. Yep.
Okay. How long does it normally take?
Well, if right now I have the luxury of doing this while we're closed, so I can keep the timeline a little tighter. But I would suggest, if you're interviewing with a campground owner in the season, in say September or August or October, I would just ask worker campers to be a little understanding that sometimes the process can take much longer than we want, because we are pulled in so many directions that time of year. So I do know that can be a little frustrating. I try to let people know this is going to take a little bit longer than I would even like it to be, right? It can probably be from the time you email me to the time we make it to the last interview, probably 4 weeks.
Oh, that's still
I try to tighten that up. But I do know it can be frustrating for people. But when you're trying to run 2 campgrounds, that's about the best I can do.
I certainly understand. If there was a work camper who really wanted to work for you folks, what could they do to really stand out?
Actually, read the description. I'm really shocked at how often people reach out to us and they'll say things like, "What state are you in?" when that was the first 2 words of the job posting. Research our campground. I can't tell you how many times I've hopped on a Zoom call and said to people, "So do you know anything about our campground? What would have you particularly interested in working for us?" And they can't answer the question. They don't know anything about us, So I would, it doesn't take long, but I would suggest that a quick Google search and just a thorough reading of the posting, actually, as sad as that is, makes you stand out, because it doesn't happen all the time.
And it's also a great way to convince an employer that your particular skills or experience would work well for them by knowing exactly what they need.
Well, and make sure that it's actually interesting to you, because
Right.
you might open up the listing and be like, "Well, this isn't what I want," and save us all a little bit of time, right? So,
Right.
yeah. That, I would say that's there's the first step, and it's not hard or painful. Yeah.
Now, you folks are located in the middle of the western part of Connecticut. What are some of the things that people can do in that area?
Yeah, so we have in New England, one thing people tell us, we have phenomenal restaurants. I mean, you want good Italian food, you're in heart of good Italian food country. But we have a lot of hiking. There's a lot of antiques around us. There's wine trails. There's whitewater tubing. Really kind of depends on what you're interested in. I'm always amazed. There's a lot of festivals and fairs in our area, Ren fairs. There's quite a lot going on. So people would have to let me know what they're interested in, and then I could definitely help match them up to our last worker campers were huge Red Sox and Yankees fans. So we actually had seasonals give them tickets, and they got to go to a game. So that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, never know.
And earlier you said you're only 90 minutes from New York City. Does that mean
Yes.
90 minutes via driving or by hopping on
Yes.
one of the subways?
Well, you can definitely hop on the train and make life easier. It is a surprisingly painless drive. I know it doesn't seem like it. So I usually just drive right into the city, and it just amazes me how fast the time goes by, and you're right down, and I can make it to the World Trade Memorial in 90 minutes. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And yeah, you're not too far from upper New York as well. And there are lots of things for people to do there. And how far would you be from Boston?
A little bit further to Boston. My daughter went to college there. So we're 90 minutes to New York City, and I would say we're probably about another hour to Boston, but still very doable. Yep.
It is indeed. So there are plenty of things for people to do in the area when they're not working.
Yes.
What's one thing you wish all work campers knew before they came to work for you?
Well, I actually have kind of an odd one, and that is, I think if you are new to worker camping, there is a perception that I find with some new people. Once you've done this a couple of times, I think you learn. But I would be very careful in drawing boundaries and socializing with your fellow guests, especially the long stay guests. We have found that has probably been the biggest ticket to things kind of going astray. So the long stay campers, or in our case, our seasonal campers that are with us for 6 or 7 months, they tend to want to get our worker campers to drink with them, to party with them, to play cornhole at night. And when we have to pull up to a site because there's a noise disturbance and there's a worker camper couple there, that's always sort of a gut punch because, it's after quiet hours. And so that would be the thing I would say is that you kind of have to draw some boundaries. You definitely can be very friendly with people. We're not asking people not to be friendly. But you do have to figure out how to sort of draw your own internal boundaries with what you're comfortable with. And excessive drinking and socializing with your fellow campers is going to kind of not be a go. I would say that from my perspective, I don't know if all campground owners feel that way. I do know that many I talk to do feel that way. And I think if you're new to this, it might be kind of a surprise. It might be kind of a bummer. It might not be what you're picturing when you picture the lifestyle.
Well, it's hard to maintain that separation because the work campers might have to do some enforcement, like you said.
Yes.
And it's much easier to do that when they have a arm's length relationship than being the buddy.
The minute you become friends with them, whether it's implied or directly asked for, they expect special treatment. And that sooner or later, that is going to cause you a very uncomfortable moment.
That's a great observation. So be friendly, but don't be overly friendly.
Yeah. My recommendation is you really can't drink with the campers. It's kind of the alcohol is kind of it seems like kind of the line. And I can understand that might be disappointing for people. And it just may be something that you think about long and hard and figure out how you'll handle it when that happens. Because if they invite you to drink, sooner and later, they're going to say, well, can't you look the other way about something? And then you're going to have to pick a team. And, I always will have my worker campers' backs, and I hope that they would have mine as well. So, yep.
Makes sense to me. Where can people get more information about the campgrounds or the opportunity to work for you?
Might just be easiest to Google Cozy Hills Campground in Connecticut or Sky Ridge Trails Campground in Connecticut. I can throw out email links, but it might be a little convoluted, but admin@cozyhills.com will always get you to me too.
Very good. We'll be sure to include those links in the show notes so that people can click through to find more information. Well, thank you, Lelah, for this time. I really appreciate it. I love Connecticut. It's one of my favorite states to visit, and I would encourage people to stop in and check it out, or more importantly, to apply and become a work camper there. I think it sounds like a fun opportunity.
Thank you for your time. Hope that we get a few more wonderful people to join us this season.
My thanks again to Lelah Campo for giving us a walkthrough about what it is like to spend a summer work camping at Cozy Hills Campground and Sky Ridge Trails in Connecticut. One thing that stood out to me was how intentional Lelah is in matching work campers to jobs that best fit with their interests and talents. I also appreciated her straightforward approach to scheduling and expectations. She likes to keep people fresh and avoid burnout by making sure work campers get 2 consecutive days off together as a couple. Her advice about getting too friendly with seasonal guests was an excellent reminder about the need for setting and maintaining those boundaries. Work campers certainly don't want to be put in uncomfortable positions if they need to enforce rules or by getting pressured to do things they aren't hired to do. With a completely free RV site and pay for every hour worked, this is a great opportunity to spend a summer in beautiful New England. If you want more information about either campground or the work camping opportunities, visit cozyhills.com or skyridgerv.com. People can also email Lelah directly at admin@cozyhills.com. Today's episode is sponsored by Workamper News, Much more than just a job listing website, when you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. A Workamper membership opens the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with a community of work campers, and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then membership is for you. So join today at www.workamper.com. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all for this week's show. Next time I'll be speaking with another campground owner from New Hampshire about a fun work camping opportunity this summer. I'll have that interview on the next episode of The Workamper Show. Thank you for listening, and if you like these interviews, please consider leaving a review wherever you download the episodes.